With the coronavirus lockdown 3 weeks in and with no sign of it ending, a lot of businesses are struggling for cash. There is support from the government, but some won't land for a while yet. A number of our clients have already received their £10,000 or £25,000 grants related to the premises, but there's a cash gap between paying furloughed staff and actually getting the money back through the online portal that hasn't even gone live yet. And if you're self-employed, you won't get the grants till June. All while you've got a reduced or perhaps no income coming in, and also knowing there's a potential reduced income after the lockdown ends while the economy recovers. So that's where the coronavirus business interruption loan scheme comes in, or at least where it's supposed to come in. There's been a lot of criticism of the scheme. It was a great headline to give over £300 billion to businesses, but it is in fact a loan, and a loan that seems hard to get. A few days ago, less than 1,000 businesses out of nearly 200,000 have applied had actually been processed to receive the loan. And then there's been all the fuss about personal guarantees. So what's it all about? Well, my name's John Davis. I have an accounting practice in Liverpool, and in this short video, I'm going to tell you. So firstly, let's go back to basics. The coronavirus business interruption loan scheme was introduced by the government and is a package worth around £330 billion, but it's not free money. What they're doing is guaranteeing loans to make it easier for you to get the credit you urgently need. The idea is that the government will guarantee 80% of the value of loans up to £5 million, but to an extent that's between them and the lender. How's it work for you? Well, firstly you need to have a business bank account, and the details are as follows. The government will cover 12 months worth of interest payments, and they'll back the loan, meaning it'll be easier for you to get credit. However, the government are not guaranteeing to actually pay the loan off if you can't. You need to speak to the lender about this. The lenders won't need a personal guarantee though for loans up to £250,000, but it will do so for amounts larger than that. Now, if you want the loan, there are a lot of lenders offering this, but your first port of call will probably be your bank. Now, as I said, the good thing with the scheme is the government has committed to paying the interest on the loans for the first 12 months, as well as the arrangement fees. Now, this is just the interest they're paying, not the capital. You'll have to pay that back yourself during the first 12 months. However, if you can actually afford to pay back the whole loan within 12 months, you'd pay no interest, making this a really kind of affordable cash injection. So who's actually lending the money? Well, there's around 40 lenders involved, ranging from the standard high street banks to a lot of alternative lenders. However, some have pulled out the scheme as developed, and others have been added, so kind of keep an eye on that and the government website. What can the loan be used for? The idea of the loan is to cover the cash gap that's arisen in your business due to coronavirus. This cash gap can include a salary for the directors, but not dividends. And the amount can only be borrowed if your business was viable before coronavirus and is likely to be viable again after coronavirus. So if that's what the loan can be used for, what can't it be used for? Well, the loan isn't there to be used for example, buying assets or machinery, to get some cash for a rainy day or help to grow your business. If you want to do these, you should get a normal loan. It's also likely you won't get the loan if you'd actually qualify for the lender's standard offering anyway. So if you have good credit and security that you would put down ordinarily, also the business has security, for example, owns a building, it's likely the lender will offer you one of their standard products. The coronavirus loan is designed to help those who can't access the finance through normal routes. So what's the interest rates? Well, it does vary, as is so often the case with loans, depends on you, your business and the risk. But the high street banks seem to be offering between 3 and 8% at the moment, depending on your business. Some of the alternative lenders are charging rates up to 20%. Now, as I say, the government will pay the interest for the first 12 months, but you do need to look at the interest rate after that when those repayments do kick in. Now, what security is required for the loan? Well, this was one of the controversies early on. Many of the lenders are asking for personal guarantees, i.e. your personal assets would be on the line if your business couldn't pay the loan back. However, after a lot of criticism, it's been decided that you would not have to give a personal guarantee if you're borrowing less than £250,000. Now, if you're borrowing more than that, there will be a personal guarantee, but it won't include your personal home. It'll be other assets that you own. Now, what information we have to provide to get the loan? Well, each lender will be slightly different, but the requirements we've seen so far for a few applications we've been involved with include firstly actually confirmation that you've already accessed all the other available supports, for example the small business grants, the job retention scheme for furloughing staff. They'll want to look at your last annual accounts and also if available management accounts to prove you had a viable business before coronavirus happened. They also want a realistic cash flow forecast to show the cash gap and the fact you'll be able to repay the loan. The problem is it's actually quite hard to do at the moment because the future is actually so uncertain. So what they kind of, when you talk to the banks, what they really want is a set of realistic and clear assumptions to back up your application and a cash flow. And that cash flow then shows how much you need, because it is only for what you need, and then that you've got the ability to pay it back. How long will it take you to get the loan? Well, this has been one of the problems. The banks are just swamped with applications, which is why so few have been approved to date. I spoke to one business bank manager last week. He had 40 applications to process, and he said they take 3 to 4 hours each. So for him to do it on his own, that's 3 to 4 weeks of work. And that's what's going to come across. Actually, generally, the money is not going to land immediately. It's going to take a few weeks. It's being discussed lots by the government, by the Chancellor, looking for ways to improve this. I know they've actually brought in a high-level kind of banker to help at the Treasury over this. But it's not going to be immediate cash. But they're doing everything they can to kind of speed it up, because the conscious businesses are desperate for this cash right now. So kind of, we'll have to wait and see, whether any more changes to get the cash moving faster, and we'll keep you updated on that. So all in all, though, it has the potential to be a really good source of cash to get you through this coronavirus crisis. So please do speak to your bank, though, as soon as possible to get things moving. Like I say, there is a queue, and do be aware of what you need to prove to get that loan in terms of having those kind of, a cash flow with realistic assumptions, your kind of management accounts, your accounts, and also kind of make sure you can actually show that you have actually access to the other support first. Now, I hope you found that useful. If you'd like any support in applying for a loan, please do get in touch. And if you want more information about the support available for your business through the coronavirus crisis, please watch our other videos and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you, and hope to see you soon.